What up, people? What's good? Salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. We're a niche channel reserved for the best. Good afternoon, good evening. How you doing, everybody? This is the sixth element of hip hop. I am your host, Reno Noir. This is my co-host, Stu Dog, and guest co-host Sada. And we got a special guest in the building. We got my man Flea, who is a super ill indie comic creator and has a very dope book on Kickstarter right now for y'all. And we're gonna chop it up and talk to him. Then we're gonna get into Moon Knight episode 6. Wow, we're gonna talk about that. That shit was crazy. But let's talk about Stokey, which is your character. What's good, man? So you created this book, and I want to put the Kickstarter up here for people to find. I'll get that up there. But
Appreciate it.
yeah, man. How's that going, by the way, the Kickstarter?
That Kickstarter, honestly, this is my second Kickstarter campaign.
Okay.
Right. And it may be the second time that I was unsuccessful in a Kickstarter. Now I'm playing. This Kickstarter is only $400 or whatever the case may be. And honestly, it's just like to kind of help out with lettering and to be 100% honest. It's more for me to like use that as a better pre-order system than like using like my website and stuff like that. So you know, I feel like people feel a little bit more comfortable going through Kickstarter, but like around like May 20, I think my Kickstarter ends May 28th. So whatever's like the remainder, I'm just gonna pay like the rest of it and make it look like quote unquote successful and stuff like that. But it's cool. So it's definitely cool. But I laughed when you asked that question because that Kickstarter it kickstarted so much drama and Facebook. So I was like, wow, that's hilarious.
Oh wow, what kind of drama?
Really?
What's up with the?
Oh, what kind of drama?
Talk about it.
Was it like female? Was it like? I mean, like, was it like female drama? Like, like you on child support, and they was looking up, like, you on Kickstarter, and he ain't got no money for his child support. Was it anything like that, or?
I wish, right? I ain't got no kids yet, but nah.
Okay.
What happened was, I put up my Kickstarter, on this comic book group called like Black Comic Creators, and from let's say the last 2-3 months since the Milestone Initiative, it's been like a little debate between a lot of the creators in that Facebook group. Some of us were some people sided with DC, saying that they was doing the right thing, and me, being like this like activist revolutionary type of spirit that I am, I'm like, nah, DC like stiffed us, you know what I mean? Like they let us send all of our work in and they disappeared. But just so happens today they actually announced the people that won. So today I was like going into the group to post like, and kind of say, hey, I'm kind of sorry. Not sorry, but like, hey, well, DC did the right thing 3 months later. And I'm like, oh, I'm not even like good in the group no more. And then I'm like, the last thing I posted was my Kickstarter. You know what I mean? So I don't know. So I just guessed it was that, but it's probably something else. You know what I mean?
I feel you. Well, for the people that just came in the chat and for everybody that's watching and everybody watching on replay, we're talking right now with David Haynes III, aka Fleezus. He's the CEO of Ghoul Comics LLC. And as a hip hop manager, he's worked with many notable hip hop acts. He now writes novels and comics full time. And we want to talk about his current joint right now called Stokey, Maroon City Detective. And here's the character design. He's got the crescent and star. Is he Muslim?
Or is that sign right there is actually a thing that's in the comic. It's called Malloy, right? So we kind of in the second issue we go into this thing called Malloyism, MLOISM, but you can actually go to MLOI.org and kind of like see like that whole like Malloy ideology of like people who just believe that Islamic people pray in the wrong direction, like so that crescent moon being within like the moon, the crescent moon with the star David like located on the inside, whatever the case may be, is more or less for like people that would pray pointed towards Petra as opposed to Mecca. So I don't know if y'all seen Dune and like the Emerald City, like it's like a red, it's like a stone temple that's like in the middle of the desert and stuff like that. That temple is supposed to be where Muhammad actually was, but some people say that the scholar that found that was like, you know, Caucasian, and what does he know about Arabic stuff and this that, and the third. So I kind of latched onto that and kind of created like a character and a storyline out of that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's true or not, but I have this thing for augmented RPGs, right? Are y'all familiar with augmented RPGs?
Absolutely.
All right, so more or less.
Well, for the people that don't know, break it down.
For the people that don't know, augmented RPGs are like they bring the actual person into the game, if that makes sense. So like, you look at Pokemon Go as an augmented RPG. So you actually you're on the road looking for Pokemon, so you might hop out the car and try to catch a Pokemon, something like that. So as with the comic book, I consider like an augmented RPG. So as in that the symbol that Stokey has in the comic and his ideology in the comic actually has a real life website in mloi.org, to which you could kind of see what their ideology is and, you know, where it comes from and stuff like that. But Stokey on Maroon City Detective is also connected to another four books. So it's connected to the Ghoul comics, which is like a 6 comic series. It's connected to Land of Fire, which is a like 120 page like written novel. Then Land of Water, 240 page, like a war kind of like novel. Land of Grass, and then The Time Before Time. So it's like, you know, it's supposed to be like a whole kind of like Ghoulia Verse type of thing. And, you know,
yo, spell that Malloy for me. I want to write that.
MLOI.ORG.
All right.
And if you play Grand Theft Auto online, there's actually a club named MOL. I don't know if it'd be on all servers, but there's a, you know what I mean? I do like clubs in there and bunks and stuff like that. I try to, you know.
Yeah, well, Stu's a gamer and a Muslim. So.
Wow, that's cool. Nah, I'm not really Muslim. I'm more kind of like I'm more kind of focused on like the God body 5% ideology.
5%. That's where we started. I mean, that's kind of where we started, me and Stu as well.
I used to be a 5%.
Yeah, that's cool. So my father's a 5% and stuff like that, and he kind of like, you know, and speaking of, you know, showing that image, he was in jail and he used to like teach me a lot of the lessons through his letters and stuff like that. So I try to incorporate it all, but without like, you know what I mean. So maybe Malloy is kind of like the fake 5% version in the comic and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Got you. Yeah, Slade's already down. Slade Wilson said he's definitely gonna go and get down with this project. He said you got his Kickstarter money.
Thank you, Slade. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Well, Stokey Maroon City Detective issue #1 called Abduction. The story takes place directly after the Ghoul issue #0 webtoons, when a black boy genius is kidnapped. It's up to a cool assassin named Stokey, named after political activist Stokey Carmichael, of course, to rescue the boy from the Populism Democratic Party laboratory. And when an insurance broker approaches Stokey in the Land of Water about a boy prodigy he believes may be destined for great things, he hires Stokey, in which they both set sail back to Maroon City to help recover his golden child of sorts. The tale begins when Stokey arrives in the Forest of Dreams looking for evidence of the kidnapping. As he follows the truck trail through the forest, Stokey is met with a new species known as CVs, culture vultures. I love it. That only listen to a mysterious figure known only as the Motherless Child. And can Stokey defeat these threats to make it to the PDP labs and retrieve Nevim before it's too late? Am I saying that right? Nevim?
Nevaim.
Nevaim. And this is the Motherless Child.
Yeah, the Motherless Child is a kid named Delta. Nevim is actually the Nevaim. You got me calling him Nevim. Nevaim is actually the main character of the Ghoul and stuff like that. So you know, after this like 3-part series, you know, then we'll get back into the Ghoul, because what I really wanted to do was actually kind of explore like the Ghoul universe with Nevaim and stuff like that. But I'm like, I can't give but so much dialogue without putting action, so I just created like Stokey that comic series as like pure action. You know what I mean? Like action, a
Right.
little bit of dialogue, but for the most part, it's action. Then if you want like some dialogue, you could like maybe pick up the Ghoul and stuff down the line.
Right. And the Ghoulia Verse, tell me about the Ghoulia Verse, the larger Ghoulia Verse, which consists of all the different science fiction novels: Land of Fire, Land of Water, Land of Grass. Talk about that.
All right, so the Ghoulia Verse now. The Ghoulia Verse takes place 20 to 30 years after the Second Great Flood in the novel. So on webtoons, a guy named Shalom, like a very rich kind of Wall Street dude, he he he's really obsessed and just like focused on greed and stuff like that. But during the Second Great Flood, he more or less kind of more all right. During the Second Great Flood, he comes face to face with reality. You know that money doesn't mean nothing in the face of death. You know what I mean? So that's like the moral of that story. So when the Second Great Flood takes place, most of the people that lived in America at that point in time set sail to the east. That's which is now known as like the land of fire, the land of grass, and the land of water. You know what I mean? As like the flood mostly kind of in the Ghoulia Verse mostly kind of destroyed North and South America. But the only parts of America that's actually like still above water is mountains and stuff like that. So I think it's like the Wolverine Mountain in like Wyoming or something like that. It's like supposed to be like a very large mountain. So Maroon City is actually supposed to take place on that mountain. But it also kind of like has like this like analogy to the maroon towns of old in slavery days when the slaves used to go to maroon towns and find their own freedom, like the Seminoles and stuff like that. Shout out to my brother Tariq Nasheed doing a whole 4-part series on the maroon towns and stuff like that, which is why like issue 1 publicly will be released on Juneteenth, but for people who order on Kickstarter, they'll get it June 4th, which is my brother's birthday. And I'm trying
That's
to
my
just
birthday.
Oh, that's your
What I
birthday,
got?
seriously?
What I got?
Wow,
June 4th. Yeah.
I got the same birthday. Wow, that's
Word
lit.
up.
So I release it then, and I'm trying to do like an annual, like at least every year, have at least one of my comics land on Juneteenth because I plan on being in the comic industry for a long time. Independent,
Word.
whatever. I'm gonna be here, man. I'm gonna
Word.
be a voice y'all hearing from.
Absolutely. I believe that. I believe that.
But sorry about that. So I'm sorry, I kind of digress. So yeah, so after the Second Great Flood and stuff like that, after the Second Great Flood, so most of the rich people or like middle class set sail east to the old world, which would be like the land of fire. They end up setting up their own monarchy known as the Caucasus monarchy, and they're kind of using their power and their technology, and the money transfers over, right? So if it's 20 years from now and the rich people from now and they got to all set sail on the Titanic and stuff, who's going to buy those tickets? It's going to be the rich people, the middle class and stuff like that, and the poor is going to kind of perish. But the poor always find a way to do something, so the poor just drives to Wyoming and create this Maroon City that they thriving on over there and stuff like that. So Stokey himself is actually from the land of water, kind of coming to Maroon City as like this newcomer type of guy. So he's kind of like exploring, and that's what like the whole adventure is about, like this insurance broker, because also in the story, Nevi'im has like $1 million insurance policy because he's supposed to be like this quote unquote golden child or whatever the case may be. So the insurance broker is actually the person who hires Stokey and brings him to to Maroon City to find this bounty and figure out what the PDP is doing and why they're kidnapping kids and turn them into like these little demon robots and putting them on demon time and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's like a really like I don't think it's like complex, but I think like it's kind of like trying to mix certain street elements with like certain science fiction elements, but not trying to make it like overtly like out there and stuff like that. Kind of trying to like I don't know. I like I say it's my life in comic book form. You know what I mean? Like it's literally my story just set in like a whole fantasy place and all these weird things, and you know what I mean? A lot of the characters and the names is they based on certain real people, but within the book itself, certain characters like, oh wait, this person really was in Dave's life and really, because I kind of live my life on the internet as well, right? So like I like in the Bronx, I have like a lot of like Instagram fame, and like a lot of people know me for things like that. So a lot of people kind of like was raised with me, on Instagram, seeing me getting my heart broke by certain females and stuff. So you know what I mean? You know, you always got to throw the ex-girlfriend in there. You always gotta hit her with the jab, you know what I'm saying? You gotta
never complete without that. Absolutely.
yeah.
So we was just talking the other day about sundown towns and certain stuff that white America, you know, and proof by one of our guests at the time, just doesn't even know about those things, doesn't know those terms. So explain maroon towns, maroon cities for those who might not.
So back in slavery, right? A lot of our history teaches us that slaves never revolted. Slaves never tried to do things. Either they jumped off the ship or they just dealt with, or they jumped off the ship or they dealt with it. That's basically what they
Right.
tried to tell people. But
Right.
what really was taking place was some of these slaves, you know, was running away to like far away places. So they would go into the swamps and stuff like that, you know, where a lot of colonists wasn't too like familiar. So when they would kind of like try to, you know, get through these swampy lands with the crocodiles and stuff like that, a lot of these like, you know, slaves would kill them with like long hatchets, and you know, maybe take the gun from that person that they killed and maybe have a gun with like 1 or 2 bullets, you know, stuff like that. You know,
Right.
when you struggling, us black people, we get very creative. Trust me, like we could think of some shit. We could make nothing out of something. Like I truly believe that black people created fire. Like I think we was just sitting down and we started putting some shit together. Like, oh, and then you know what I mean, let's make some fried chicken or something.
I mean, yeah, because pretty much everybody was black on the earth at that time. So yeah,
True
absolutely.
indeed. You know what I mean? So you know, so with these maroon towns and stuff like that, we have like a lot of history over there that wasn't told to us. So now us as like, you know, as just like foundational black Americans are trying to go back and reclaim that history and show our ancestors, like, right, like not only our African Egyptian ancestors, our Hotep ancestors love, but our slave ancestors love, right? Because it takes a lot for a slave to sit there and endure that pain and say, you know what, 3-4 generations down the line, my kid is going to be living here. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, I know a lot of people like just look down on slavery. A lot of people like, oh my God, like it's and I understand, I get the whole nine, but let's give our people, our ancestors, some credit for what they had, with the abuse that they took and stuff like that. Let's honor them. Let's not just keep shunning them and look to Egypt and just jump 50,000 years into the back. Like, nah, we gotta, you know what I mean? And that's even why I try to honor people like Stokey Carmichael, right? Like a person who wasn't really of like a American descent. He came over here, but he took up the black cause as well. You know what I'm saying? He said, "Oh, this is crazy. I gotta get with my people and do what we gotta do." You know what I'm trying to say? And that's at this point in time, 2022. That's what we all gotta just get on. Like, yo, like we gotta you know, kind of push this black movement of liberty and stuff, and just try to, you know what I mean? And in a different way, not on some, you know, burning down buildings, nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Creatively, artistically, right? That's why, you know, I do a podcast called Black Renaissance, right? Artistically, we can change so many things in this world without, you know, being aggressive or violent and stuff like that. So that's what I'm trying to like inspire, you know?
Facts. So the land of fire, the land of water, and the land of grass, those are novels, right?
Yes.
Okay, and each novel consists of 150 to 240 pages and will be released yearly, with the first book, Land of Fire, scheduled for December 2022 release date. Then these novels focus on life after the second great flood that is described in the Ghoul issue number 0, SYZYGY. And then 3 decades. Syzygy. Okay, I wasn't sure if it was all right. And then decades after the Great Migration, East, three new lands have formed new nations with the same old Western way of thinking. The Caucasus monarchy reigns supreme, while it says melons.
Yeah,
okay.
People
people with melanin.
Yeah, exactly. The condescending term in the land of fire for those people are called melons. You know what I mean?
Got you. They serve inferior jobs like taxi drivers, delivery boys, all equipped with GPS monitoring to keep so-called melons from committing crimes. So basically, just like under heavy surveillance, not much unlike today's current, you know, police climate in the hood. Anyway, it's a great metaphor. This is a great analogy for life right now. Being a Afrocentric Black pride sort of subject matter and story. Is there anything that non-black Americans or readers can relate to or get from this book or from this comic?
It's funny. I never really thought about that, right?
These are the
There's like a lot of like Delta. Well, the Motherless Child is actually a white character, right? So the Caucasus monarchy and stuff like that, and more or less like I honestly believe that white people get to look at black culture through a science fiction lens, and that's kind of like my goal of like using this art form to speak to the world, right? Because like I wanted to be a rapper at one point in time, right? I wanted to manage rappers and stuff like that. But then when I came into the comic book, when I picked up a comic and I'm like, yo, this is a great way to communicate with people, like visually.
Yeah.
So you
It's
can
a
tell a
great
story.
form of expression.
Exactly. It's honestly one of the greatest forms of expression. To be honest, I honestly feel like it should be Marvel and DC museums in New York City, or you know what I mean. Like we need more comic book museums and stuff, and to honor this art form, this American art form. But yeah, so I wanted to use that storytelling device to try to communicate my story in just a different type of way. And yes, Delta's white. Colonel Kenny, like, but it's like half of the characters is white and stuff like that.
Are
But
they
at
all
the
villains? Are all the white people bad guys?
Hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, man. But listen, they're not like the worst type of people. Let's be honest. They're
Well,
not
no,
the
but
worst.
this book, like while it the subject matter is what it is, it's almost like this is you're really saying this for white people. You want white people to be reading this. This is for white people to read and see your point of view on things.
Yeah, and some degree, yeah. But to
Right.
be honest, to be 100% honest too, as well, you know what I mean. Like, I want to try to get more black kids into comics as well, right? I want to,
Yeah.
they watch anime, they're into Naruto and stuff like
Right.
that. So I want to
Right.
kind of like use that to bring them back to the American form of storytelling comics,
Yeah.
right? American comics, not just black and white mangas and these small books, and
Right.
you know what I mean. Like get the full color, get the big, open up. You know what I mean. See one of those splash pages and how it
Yeah.
affects you. But I feel like a lot of people get confused by how much comics there is. They don't really know how to jump into the storyline and stuff like that, and it's not just one linear story. It's like a
Yeah.
multiverse, and you don't know which is which, and it's so confusing. So
Did you see my first video that's on the channel? That's basically what we started this channel for, because it's such a daunting, like you go to a comic store, you have it's thousands of books, you don't know where to get in, where to jump in, what do I read first, how do I get into it? And this channel was really to bring people from the hip hop culture into the comic book culture, because most hip hop fans don't even realize that 90% of the MCs and producers are comic nerds.
facts.
That's what I'm saying. But the fandom doesn't really don't really catch it like that. So that's what we trying to do, man. And bring. So this is that's why I wanted to talk to you, man, and have you on, because what you're doing like embodies hip hop and comics. Is just what we are all about, man. And we appreciate
party for Kanye West, but now we have people like Charlemagne the God also doing black comics as well.
Right.
You know what I mean? We have
there's a lot of black. Yeah, you got DMC. I mean, it's a lot of hip hop.
Oh, I seen him in New York Comic Con. I was like, DMC got a comic. I was like, oh, that was cool.
Yep, it's several. Even Samuel got a comic. It's a lot of comics, hip hop. But Stu Sada, Sada, by the way, that she's Pete Rock is her uncle. Pete Rock, the producer.
Seriously?
Yeah. Her dad is his brother, Grap Lover, been on the show a bunch of times. Good homie. But as a from a female perspective side, do you have any like questions or anything you want to ask?
I think I don't know. I'm not sure if you already answered this, but how many issues would there be, like in total for this?
For Stokey, Maroon City Detective, it's 3 issues. So it's like a 3 act. So each issue is like 1 act. So it's 3 issues for this one. For the Ghoul series, it's about 6 issues, and then that's gonna be like my comic book run up until I do like Land of Fire, and then try to come back to comics after that.
Okay, I do want to also ask, like, in terms of like female characters, do you have any black female characters in this issue, and like what role do they play? Do they play like a role of importance or something like that?
Um,
Excellent question. She got you. Yeah.
she's good at it. I mean, honestly, y'all all good, dog. I like this. I like this, you know. But to be honest with you, yes, there is female characters. I
Mhm.
had reached out, like I'm not an artist, right? So I have to like outsource the artwork, and I have to hire
Right.
people to do artwork. So I had reached out to this young lady who drew some excellent like female characters, and I feel like, you know, especially with female characters, you can't just hire any artist to draw a female character, because they might draw from a lustful place, they might draw from like objective, like I'm not like a
Right.
sexist kind of, you know what I mean, type of place, like I
Yeah.
don't know if they objectifying female, something like that. So I really want to work with the proper person. That's kind of like the first thing. But I have like on my wall, I have like a bunch of concepts for females that I want to bring into the series, and I have like I have certain I have parts written for females and stuff like that. But at
Mhm.
the same notion, I'll be like 100% honest. The females in in the series are mostly
Mhm.
in the Land of Fire, because the Land of Fire is like literally a whole novel that's basically like written to my ex-girlfriend. Just be 100% honest, you know what I mean? Like I literally wrote like the whole book is dedicated to her and trying to like show someone how to have a relationship. Like I was a cab driver. I was a cab driver, and Land of Fire, it's a cab driver who comes up with like these powers, and all the stuff is connected and stuff like that. So he's with this girl, and they kind of get him, they go into like this oppressive situation, and you know, and she's just like really holding him down, like, you know. And it was just basically in the comic, I wanted to write a book of what the ideal black relationship should be, just like a female just like holding someone down, understanding that like the system is against, you know, all that shit as black men like to push, yo, everybody's against us, you know what I mean? And females like, ah, go out there, I'm black too, and you know what I mean? So, you know, stuff like that. But you know, at the first issue there is no female. The second issue, I don't think so, but the third issue there's definitely females in that issue. But the first two, not so much.
Okay, gotcha.
But
Excellent question.
when we get some good, when we get some females, oh, trust me, they gonna be, you gonna love them. They gonna embody
Powerful. Word.
style, fashion, and you know what I'm saying? You know.
Stu,
What's up?
it's on you.
Pleases, man. They
Question
say
for the
that
brother.
art imitates life, which is true. But how much of this comic that you're writing here, how much of your life is in that, or your life experiences is poured into this project, or the story, should I say?
I would say honestly at least about 50%, because at the same time it's like, you know, like in a forest and stuff like that, and magical powers. But like, you know, for the most part, like, you know, a lot of like the culture vulture stuff, and like, you know, and I'm not talking about like with like other national, I'm talking about like with my own people, you know what I mean? Like, you know, my own friends, and me just giving ideas to certain rap artists and stuff like that, and then them taking it and, you know what I mean, and giving it to someone else and things. So it's like it's a lot of like my life in there. But you know, I don't know. I, I would more or less say as you get deeper into the story, then it will more reveal itself. But the first issue is like real like comic book based, like real fighting back and forth. Just like I try not to overdo the dialogue, because in my first comic last year, the Ghoul Syzygy, it was a lot of just like just reading and no action, and you know what I mean, trying to send a message and greed, and it didn't really transfer over well, and it was like it's not a comic, it's kind of like a book.
Well, you got to find balance. There's balance in everything. So,
That's true.
you know, yeah, because like you'll have some comics that are very dialogue heavy, and to read them, it's a lot. Like, you know, you're sitting there, you're reading, and you're like, man, like this is a lot to read, and the print's like this small, and you're reading it. So, you know, now as far as this project is concerned, what inspired you to just start all of this, like period, point blank, like just, you know, jump up one day? Did you wake up one day and was like, you know what, I want to write a comic? Or did you smoke a joint and was like, I want to write a comic right now? You know what I mean? You know, I don't know. the fans, the people want to know, the chat want to know. They want to know. They want to know what sparked the creative spark that got us here where we're at today.
That's how I get most of my characters. Right? I spark a joint. I'm like, yo, wait, Colonel Kenny's a good name. But nah, what happened? It was a guy named David Crownton. So Harriet Tubman's Demon Slayer. I believe that's the name of the comic. He was in Forbidden Planet one day, and I was at that point in time. I was writing books. Right, I was writing my Land of Fire book. And I went there and I seen him, and like it's like people there online. And I'm like, wow, like I never really seen like a like a black like comic book writer before, but this is around the House of X was like, and I was just getting into comics. I was working Postmates. I was getting out the streets just trying to find something. And the only thing I could find was like Postmates and Uber Eats. So I'm doing that. And in between, stops, I would read comics and I seen this guy, David Crownton. So I spoke to him and I was like, hey, I'm writing a book and stuff like that. So he's like, writing a book? I'll tell you what, if you give me, like some of the pages and stuff, I'll read it and give you like, like my advice, whatever. So I went to Staples, printed out 10 pages or whatever from my like email, came back, gave it to him, and then when I gave it to him or whatever the case may be, there was another young female there, and she's like, "Oh, you look like you're gonna be something one day," and she's like, "Can I take a picture with you?" And I just felt like that was a sign from God. So I was like, you know what? I want to write a comic. And that's after that. I kept speaking to David Crownton or whatever, and I had the idea. And then Ross Ritchie from Boom Studios ended up following me on my other podcast page before it got deactivated. And I was like, oh, so now I DM'd Ross Ritchie. Like, I didn't know what the fuck he was following me for. Like, what the fuck, nigga? What you like? I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? So I DM'd him like what would I need to do to like to get you to distribute a comic and stuff like that. And he's like, well, first you have to actually create the comic, like the whole comic or whatever. It got to be like at least I don't know if he said 10 pages or something, but he said like it got to be like the artwork and everything. And that's when I did the Ghoul. And I did that first comic or whatever. Then I just like really fell in love with the process, and I'm just hooked now. Like now, like this is literally like it's like weed and comics, like weed and comics, all day.
Okay.
So shout out to David Crownton.
Word. Shout out to him. Now, how much of this? If you were to put your characters up against Superman, Batman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man. What do you think your characters fall?
Wolverine.
All right, Stokey.
Deadpool.
He ain't gonna win against. At this current level, echelon 1 level, they're gonna lose because I wanna build these characters up, right? Like I feel like I have like at least 3 or 4 years, like God willing I stay alive. But I'm gonna be, releasing more issues and stuff like that, and I want to keep working with these characters. I want to like build upon them. I want like with Naruto. I grew up with Naruto, right? So, as Naruto was 10, 11 years old, I was 11 years old. When in Shippuden, when Naruto was 17, 18 years old, I was 17, 18 years old, and that literally like outside of like everything else that was going on in the streets and all this other stuff. That was like the one thing that always gave me hope. I could have been in jail, whatever, and I would literally think about like Itachi, Sasuke, Naruto. Don't give up. I was treating Naruto like the Bible. So as I got older, I'm 30 years old, and I'm like, okay, let me try to, that's why Nevaeh was like 15, right? But then I also needed a character like Stokey, who's like an older guy to kind of school us, come pick up this young guy, take him out of this prison and stuff like that, and kind of school them on life, how people picked me up when I was 15, 16, and schooled me to life. Like, yo, this is what you're gonna have to go through, this, that, and the third. You're gonna need to make some type of money because you're not gonna get no girls, and this, that, you know what I mean? And whatever bullshit ass advice they gave me at that part of my French, whatever advice they gave me at that point in time, that kind of led me astray. But they did try to, so I try to incorporate that into the comic as well. You know what I mean? So, and I guess, not to be like with females and stuff, I feel like females have so much content that speaks to them, but it's not a lot of content that speaks to the black boy and the black boy soul. You know what I'm saying? There's no like black boy magic, you know what I mean? It's not no black boy joy. So like, I want to focus on the black boys. Like, I'm here for y'all. I know what y'all go through. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, but unfortunately, this is going to be the fucked up part. Black boys don't have disposable income like that. So, it's kind of hard to market to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, but it is what it is.
I don't know about that.
Sure.
I mean, black boys rock a lot of Jordans and Gucci and I mean, Supreme and all of that. So
That's true.
We can make. You know what I mean?
That's
Space.
They
definitely true.
just
Can
gotta
I?
make better decisions with
Right.
their money. That's
Right.
all.
Right.
Because
Something
they
creative.
definitely ain't buying no independent comic creators comic on Kickstarter. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
Man,
But
listen,
we're
everybody,
trying to change that.
listen,
Yeah,
you got to remember something, please. You got to remember something, please. Everybody started out independent. Like there wasn't nobody
Yeah.
started from the top. Everybody started from the bottom and worked their way up. So you
Now we
know that
here.
if you put the work in, yeah, and you
true
stick
indeed.
with it, something got to come out of it eventually, man. You know what I
Can I
mean?
read what
But
you wrote
speak,
on your Kickstarter page?
Hmm.
Oh, well, Stu, did you have something else you want to say?
yeah. Who's your favorite comic book character?
My
Marvel.
favorite Marvel comic book character. To
Yeah.
be honest with you, as of right now, or of all times, as of right now, like today, to be honest, I'm not gonna lie. Listen, I don't want to sound like I'm pandering, but it honestly is Moon Knight. I'm not gonna lie. It is Moon Knight.
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
pandering because this episode. But
You
of
been
all
reading
time,
Moon Knight comics?
but before I got heavily into producing this one, I was when I think Jed McKay started writing this. That's who's writing these ones now, right? So yeah, I have like probably like the first 4 or 5 issues, and then like I was thinking it was going to stop at 6, but I was like, oh, this thing keeps going. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
But I have Moon Knight and the Avengers when Jason Aaron wrote him. When No Shoe was in there and he fought the Black Panther. I was just reading that again. Trying to write some parts for my comic and stuff. But my
Nice.
favorite character of all time would be Cyclops.
Nice.
That's decent. DC wise, who do you lean
DC.
towards in the DC universe?
This gonna sound like, well, it's not gonna sound generic because honestly, it really is Batman Who Laughs. But then on the same note, kind of like Batman too. But I love Batman Who Laughs. I love love Batman Who Laughs.
Dark
So.
Knight's Death
A
Metal.
lot of people
Right.
do. Yeah, a lot of people
Yeah.
do. A lot of people
I
do.
got a
But
What
that's
dope.
about the
I got a
Robin?
figure.
What
Of
about the
Batman Who
Robin
Laughs.
who laughs? What about the
it's,
Robin who? What about King
it's like a
Robin? What about
King,
Robin King?
Yeah, it's like
What about
King
Robin
Robin.
King?
Yeah.
King Shazam. What about King Shazam?
Remember, there was supposed to be like a lot of hype for like the Robin King. I'd like,
Yeah.
and I didn't really see that pan out like a lot.
I got
but
the comic. It's pretty dope.
I still have that one too. I tried to sell it. It
Yeah.
didn't sell, right? But I'll tell you a story about the Batman Who Laughs. Well, last Christmas or the Christmas during COVID, I had a toy. I put it up on eBay, and this mom, like a soccer mom, she went so hard for the Batman Who Laughs toy for her son. I was like, nah, this character is like, he's on to something. She's like, no, my son needs this toy before Christmas. He loves this character. And I'm like, miss, I shipped it out. It's not shipping fast enough. She's like, no, da-da-da.
But
So
this one?
like, it might not be that one. It was the Todd McFarlane one.
Yeah, this is McFarlane. DC.
Oh, so
Multiverse.
I see, but see, all right, so that's outside the package. I've never seen it out the packaging. Wow, that's
Oh
cool.
yeah, I take
That's
mine
cool,
out.
man. That's
Yeah,
cool. See,
I got
Yeah,
mine
actually,
all on the shelf.
okay. Wow, that's cool as hell. Like I ain't gonna lie, I never got to see it out the packaging. Man, I should have.
Oh yeah, you have to come back. You have to watch one of our gym shows, man, where everybody show off their figures and statues and all of that, man. You gotta join in.
I seen you write about that. I seen you like post like the gym
Yeah.
bringing stuff out. I'm like, what would I have to bring out? And I'm like, I don't have like that much cool comics. Like I only have like X-Force #1 or something. Like you guys be having like some dope comics, like some real.
Yeah, but it could be any collectible, Pokemon cards, statues, action figures, pops, whatever. But no, let me read what you wrote.
You can bring coins, whatever you got.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Coins, shoelaces, anything, whatever you collect, man. Some people collect shoelaces.
Shoelaces.
Bring shoelaces. You know what I'm saying?
You got sneaker heads, you got lace heads.
Exactly, different size laces too, different lengths.
Got the fat laces. You got the
you got the 80. You got the 130 centimeter fat laces.
Would y'all believe
89
that
centimeters.
making a comeback with like Italian sneakers and stuff?
I wouldn't.
I put them in my sneakers all the time. I'm gonna tell you a secret, please. Whenever I
Everything from
buy
the 80s is coming back.
I always buy a pair of shell toe Adidas. No lie. Whenever I wear them out or whatever, I always buy a new pair, whether they 3/4 high top, low, and I always, especially the low tops, I always lace them up with fat laces. Even Pumas, even when I buy old school Pumas,
lace them up with fat laces. You buying the Clods? That's what they call them, right?
Yeah.
I got a pair of Clods. Yeah, I got a pair of Clods.
Hey. See, like when Reno got right, I always put fat. I don't. See how Reno? Yeah, I always put them with fat laces. I've never ever put the regular laces in shell toe Adidas.
Ever. Yeah, that's classic. That's classic.
My Adidas is right there too. So I'm about to bring.
You said
But all right, but you gonna read what I'm saying.
Yeah, I want to read
Yeah,
what you
you go
said.
ahead.
David
Let's break
Haynes,
it down. Break it down.
May 3rd, he wrote, he said, writing science fiction is how I describe writing comic books. Writing gives me a chance to tell my life story and explain the world of foundational Black American in a easily digestible way for all society to get it. I think a lot of nationalities, races, and races don't understand Black people because they are not able to see Black America through the right lens. Often, white society is handed a fabricated lens or a lens full of gimmicks, bull crap. And when you finally find an authentic voice like lens or voice like Stokey, Maroon City Detective, or master teacher like Malcolm X, is more likely than not for people of my own Black community to shoot down this perspective and authentic lens because to some degree Black folks love to be society's enigma. Unfortunately, that stereotype no longer fits us, uh, Black people, and holds us back as we move forward into the 22nd century. The Black man shall return to his rightful place on the throne in the secret council of kings, presidents, oligarchs, as us Black people break free of the enigma, our need to be misunderstood class in society that is overly scrutinized because the world does not understand Black culture. For this reason, the goal is to use my science fiction / comic books as a decoding tool to fully understand not only Black culture, but the life of a foundational Black American through the perspective of a neo-revolutionary living in a post-apocalyptic Maroon City in Stokey. So thank you for any and all support of the Ghoulia Verse as I, David Haynes III, use the universal language of science fiction to help the world understand the pain of a Black man in modern America.
Yeah, pretty.
Yeah, man.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Like I do feel like sometimes like Black people as a whole like to be like misunderstood, right? Like we kind of don't like people to know everything about us. You know what I mean? We hide like a lot of aspects of us. I think, in my personal opinion, right? And I feel like if the world actually gets to understand Black culture, right? I think a lot of Black people would kind of say this, right? If the world actually gave us a chance to actually like understand us, and like how we are, and just how we like kind of how jovial we are, how we party, how we react to each other, how how family orientated we are. You know what I mean? Like I feel like the world would not only kind of join us hand in hand, but they will understand that together we could build a true utopia. And when I say
Mm,
syzygy, right, the first thing being syzygy, that's like all planets in alignment and just showing all planets. I feel like it could be a utopia from Earth to the moon to like Mars. You know what I mean? Like that's how deep I be trying to think. Like, and even
right,
if I be thinking like, hey, even if I'm not free in on Earth, maybe I could be free one day in Mars. You know what I mean? Ain't set rules over there yet, right? So
right, right,
history ain't begin over there at least. So I don't know.
right. Nah, that makes a lot of sense, man. That is deep, man.
It is deep, man. It
Thank
is
you, man.
deep.
Thank you,
Yeah,
man. Appreciate that.
And we appreciate you for it, man. You know what I'm
Man.
saying? So,
definitely.
you know, it takes a lot. You know what I mean? To think of that
Yeah.
up, man. Or, you just smoked a lot of weed one night and it just rolled right off.
It's
You know what I'm
definitely the
saying?
weed, bro. It's the weed.
It's
Trust me.
definitely the weed.
Weed opens the door to the
Open,
other realm,
yeah.
what lets you bring in all that
Well,
good
they say,
information.
what there are proven scientific facts. They say weed does make you more creative. That's a proven fact.
It
It
can
says it
do.
opens
Yeah.
up.
If
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
if
they say it
taken in
makes
the
you more
right,
creative.
yeah, the right dosages. I mean, if you overdo weed and you just do it constantly, it's gonna kill your creativity. So it's a balance. You gotta use it the way you're supposed to use. But yeah, man. We thank you, man. We appreciate you for coming on and talking about your comic and your outlook and your perspective. And I, for one, can't wait to read it to get it. And I know our viewers right now is sharing the same sentiment. And definitely, man, definitely. So as we know, today is episode 6 of Moon Knight. We're
Hey.
gonna talk about it. The Moon Knight. Yes. We can finally call it now. Moon Knight is officially the best Disney Plus show in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. After
Better
an
than Loki?
agonizing all right, so I will say that It's on that. It might be equal to or a little bit better,
I
but
can
it's
agree with
definitely
you.
not. It's right there, man. If Loki's a second, it's a very close second. I will definitely give you that. It's that Loki was my favorite until this. But you know, this is like it was just a little more of the action side superhero stuff that, and it's weird because Moon Knight I always considered a street level hero, like a Punisher or a Daredevil or a Midnight Suns kind of thing, but in this he's definitely a lot more than that. But after an agonizing cliffhanger, the show returns for a short but no less sweet finale, and managing to wrap up all of its loose ends while opening new doors. And a lot of people that I've talked to felt like they were like, "Oh man, this show's just more and more questions, and then it sucks, man. This last episode, just more fucking questions, more plot holes." But that's not right. Actually, it's opening new doors for the future because Kevin Feige said it. These shows are to foreshadow the films, and set up things and give us context and basically lead on to what's gonna come later. And with the after credit scene that we'll talk about in a second, you already know that there's either going to be another season of this show or the movie or whatever. But yeah, man, the show is at its best when it not only embraces its mystical roots but also its characters' own struggles. This week's episode, man, I don't know, it was dope to me. It opens up with Layla, who shines like she never has before in her desperation to stop Arthur Harrow after her husband's been shot, right? She can't do it alone, but she tries. She's following Harrow and his minions to the Great Pyramid of Giza, where Harrow strikes down the avatars of the Ennead in order to enact his great plan to free Amit. A damn shame, considering how much I liked Diana Bermudez as the avatar of Hathor. But man, Layla watches. She's watching as Amit is freed, morphing into a small stone statue, from a small stone statue to this giant crocodile-headed, goddess beast, and it greets Harold with the warped kind of respect for the lack of balance in his scales. Y'all remember that? She was like, "Your scales ain't balanced." And he was like, "Yeah, I know,
Right.
but like I thought that the penance would make up for that," and she was like, "Nope." But
No, it doesn't.
the fact that
Well,
you
that's
are
the
unbalanced is
whole.
why I can use you, because she was like, I used the balanced guy before and he fucked it up. He got me thrown
Right.
in prison. What were you
Well,
gonna
that's
say?
the. You know what? Nah, because that's that. Because when you the God that she was, that's what she did. Like
Yeah,
she sat by the scales and devoured the souls that were unbalanced.
right.
That was her whole. That was her whole thing. But if his
Yeah,
scales are unbalanced, he's right. She was supposed to. She
yeah.
chose him as the avatar. But like Khonshu said, that's not right. You can't do that.
Well,
You
she
have to
chose
have
him.
somebody with balance. Because he
She
Yeah,
can't
chose
tell her no.
him. She
Right.
why
He
chose him.
she
wouldn't tell her
chose
no.
him.
That's why she said she wanted to use him, because his scales were unbalanced. Because she
Right.
said,
Yeah. Because she can't tell him no. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. And he'll do the dirty work that she needs done, because she said her previous avatar was balanced, and you know, him being righteous and her not wanting to do righteous shit. That's why it didn't work out. But with the big bad having been released so early in the episode, um, it seems like everything's fucked. But Layla manages to free Khonshu from the Ushabti, with the gods trapped him in the little
Right. The
the
little
duel
statue.
figurine, right? And as I've affectionately been calling it, the rock jail, and
Mhm.
confronts him about defeating the goddess of the netherworld. She refuses to submit to being Khonshu's avatar because Mark told her that he wanted that Khonshu wanted her, and that he would do anything to prevent him from getting her. And she's like, "You made his life hell. Why would I want to do?" I don't know about y'all, but I really thought, I was like, "Oh man, here we go, female Moon Knight. They're gonna just put it on us." I knew it. I just knew they were about to. She was about to take the joint, but kudos to Marvel. They didn't fall for that. And she was like, nah, she'll be her own thing. Um, but he needed her, right? Or he needed an avatar to fight Amit. He couldn't kill her himself. He knew it. Um, but yeah, it was an enjoyable break from the inevitable and end of the world, as she refuses to put up with the skeletal Moon Knight gods monologuing. But it doesn't last for long, as Khonshu commits to taking on Ahmed himself, battling the goddess amongst her followers in a otherworldly smackdown. And I got some. I want to show y'all, man. There's some amazing screenshots and stuff that I want to show you guys, but I'll kind of show those in a second. And then we got to watch that new Obi-Wan trailer. But before a winner can be decided, we flash to Mark Spector in the afterlife, right? We've been waiting to see what's going on. Who, even though he is perfectly at peace now, he can't accept his own death because in characteristic, hero fashion, because how can he, sit and be in peace in paradise when he knows that Steven is going to be stuck in limbo? And so he was like, nah, you know what I'm saying? I can't roll with this. And he just breaks out. He has all the silence he's never been able to have, right? After, last week's dive into his memories, but he still turns back. He's telling the goddess Tawada that he needs to go back for Steven, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, no, but he's like, fuck that. And he goes back to the duat, and she insists that isn't how the afterlife works. If you leave, you can't come back. But he takes off anyway, finally having accepted Steven as a part of him. It brought them together as one whole person rather than in the sands, and that brought him back. I think that's why he was able to come back to life. But the moment of reconciliation between Mark and Steven is touching, and perhaps one of the best moments of the entire show, with Isaac pulling off a monologue to himself as he tells Steven that he's the only real superpower he ever had. He's the wind beneath my wings. And he acknowledged what he says is he's always needed to, is that Steven saved him and that he can't live his life or defeat Amit alone. Unsurprisingly, Steven is freed from the sands of the Duat, and the two are able to escape the afterlife with a little bit of assistance from Tawaret, but more on her later. Coming back to reality, Mark is resurrected with some assistance from Khonshu. The bullets that he got shot with just kind of popped out like Wolverine style. And we finally get another glimpse at the Moon Knight suit. And both he and Steven are now able to front freely rather than talking to each other through the mirrors. And the satisfaction of seeing the two work together makes the frustration of Moon Knight's first few episodes pay off. And bringing the two together as an effective and deadly team, who, in Steven's words to Khonshu, come as a package deal now. Meanwhile, Harrow begins his godly genocide in Cairo. Layla is desperate for a way to help Mark and decides to trust a god who is significantly less likely to betray her, the hippopotamus god, Tawaret. Smart choice. The pleasant and upbeat goddess is happy to take on Layla as her avatar, and she's gifted powers in a suit of her own. And I thought it looked pretty damn dope. You know what I mean? She pulled out the swords. She has the winged shields and all that.
She looked like the Egyptian, like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like on the Ark of the Covenant. That's like the wings. That's literally on the Ark of the Covenant.
Right.
It is. Yeah.
Yep. The Ark of the Covenant. Man, I was just talking about that the other day. What was I thinking? Oh yeah, we was talking about we was gonna do a live sale and give away a box full of slabs. So we are gonna give away a box full of slabs around Christmas time on Instagram, by the way. And that box of slab is like the Ark of the Covenant. We're gonna do like a little awesome. Short. We're gonna do like a little short film where we have to try and recapture the Ark. The box of slabs. It's gonna be dope. But
we're gonna give it back to the community.
Yeah, but we did it several months ago. We gave away a whole short box full of like $10-$15 comics, like $2,000 worth of comics. We gave it away free. You know what I'm saying? We
Respect.
always do that every holiday. But yeah, like yeah, modified metal wings, right? Molded after the ancient Egyptian art, right? Not dissimilar to those worn by the MCU's new Captain America, Sam Wilson. And it feels like this turn of events was a long time coming for her, who's carried Moon Knight on her back just as much as Isaac has, earning her place in the superhero canon and breaking away from the roots, tying her to Marlene Allerain, Mark's mortal love in the comics. You know, because in the comics she's a different name, but she's her own badass, mystical, incredible heroine, and she's exactly what Mark needs as they enter their final showdown against Harrow, a third pair of hands as they interrupt Harrow and Amit's plans of destruction. Um, the final fight is brutal and full of the best kind of action Marvel has to offer. It was dope. You got Layla, you got Mark, Steven teaming up against Harrow. When I seen man, remember when Steven got he got his shit, he was like, yo, we can do this too. He start whooping ass. Look, he was like, wow. That was an ill scene, man. That was a super
And now
dope
y'all
Yeah,
scene.
that
see
was.
why Moon Knight is my favorite character. I'm telling you, Moon
Absolutely.
Knight.
Yeah, Moon Knight, he's always been one of my top, man. It's for me, it's Cable, Wolverine, Moon Knight. Like that's my top little few. Um,
But
so
I
yeah,
always love Moon Knight because of like the different costumes and stuff. You see how he could like, you know what I mean, like switch up.
right.
You know what I mean? That's fun.
Yeah. And I was like always, man, I was always like, man, where is Jake Lockley? Where's Jake Lockley? Why is this just Mark and Steven? In the comics, it's three personalities.
Exactly.
So, and all of and I said this before I said it, y'all can tell me I was right because I was right. But we had all the promotional art, the posters of Moon Knight, Mr. Knight, and then another Oscar Isaac character with no mask at all. There was always three in every one of the posters, and they hinted to this other character. They hinted to when they would black out and kill a bunch of bad guys, but Mark or Steven didn't know who did it. They didn't do it. They didn't have no memory of it. I knew it had to be Jake. And then when they were in the asylum and there was a third sarcophagus shaking with the door shut, I knew that was Jake. But they weren't talking about him. They weren't talking about him. The episode ended, and I was like, nah, bro, it can't be over. And I fast forwarded to the after credit scene, and sure enough, you know what I'm saying?
Jake
Hey.
Lockley.
Jake Lockley, I knew it. I knew he was coming. I knew he was gonna do that, man. But yeah, but back to the episode, you got all three or four avatars are equally matched, and for a brief moment, it seems like all's lost. All might be lost. But after Mark makes a crucial misstep and Harrow has him cornered, a very nearly, stealing his soul, but then Mark blacks out. And it's something, he hasn't done in a couple of episodes. And he wakes up with Harrow passed out in his arms, bodies all over the place. Layla's like, what have you done? And he's like, Steven, was that you? Steven was like, wasn't me. And rather than, you know what I'm saying? But rather than stew in the questions that moment raises, but again, more on that later, the couple decides to follow through on their plan to defeat Ahmet once and for all, dragging Harrow back to the pyramid before trapping Ahmet inside his body, which seals her away. And that pretty much is how they were able to get her out the picture. But not only is she finally defeated, but Mark comes to his own heroic end as well, refusing to kill Harrow, right? Taking the Batman route, right? Not going to kill the bad guys, and reclaiming his own free will against Khonshu. But honestly, that's what Khonshu was supposed to be about, not killing people before they did whatever. So he was like, we got to kill her now. She going to do this. He's like, nah, now you sound like her. You can't kill them for what they going to do. And, this choice is paramount for him. And it, to shed his past guilt. And even though he seemingly relinquishes all the powers and perks that come with being Moon Knight, the series ends on a very satisfying note. And with Mark and Steven blacking out in the tomb before waking up back in Steven's flat in London, with A Man Without Love playing in the background. And finally, at peace, the two have a conversation about Steven living in a pigsty, and then they seem to have achieved the balance that they were looking for. Even if Mark ends up tripping on an ankle restraint, from the beginning of the season, but the last, one last joke at his expense before the end of the show.
Yeah, because who knows? Maybe the guy that jumped out of bed was Stephen Lockley. He might have been Lockley.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
there was
might have
2
been
goldfish in the tank. There was 2 everything in there.
right.
Goldfish. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
and then like
yeah.
I said, he was like, what a pigsty. Like he didn't know. And then when he didn't know that he was chained to the bed. So I think
Well, I think,
Lockley
yeah,
was
I
I
think
think
we saw
Lockley was the one that
Lockley.
got out of bed.
Yeah, I think we've seen Lockley. I think we've seen him a couple times. They just didn't like confirm it. But in characteristic Marvel fashion, there is of course the post credit scene that just makes it all dope. And this one is more than merely like a cute joke or a setup for a Moon Knight movie in the future. It's something like more is rather than something inane. We finally get finally what I've been waiting for, and I think a lot of fans are waiting for, a look at Jake Lockley, right? The second alter in Mark's system, and apparently a very sinister presence that does not bode well for Mark or Steven. He's definitely what Khonshu's like his little secret like weapon he's been holding, and he didn't want Mark or Steven to know about Jake. And Jake is he's an assassin basically. Mark's like a mercenary, but Jake's just more of just a killer, and not from the comics, but in this, that's how they're doing it. And having released Harrow from the mental institution that presumably Mark locked him in, Jake, wheels him. He's an invalid, former villain, to the plush ass Bentley limousine, and only for Harrow to be greeted by Khonshu, who implies that with Jake, he still has full control over Mark's system, and that this may not be the last we see of Moon Knight, on television, as Jake unceremoniously turns around and just shoots Harrow. Something that he wasn't able to do when he was Mark. He just turned around. That's the scene right there. He turns around and just pops him with the silencer. But you had Harrow. See, this is Harrow walking away with blood on his feet, and he didn't know what was going on. That was supposedly, he thought he was the doctor, so he was bugging out too. So more questions. We don't know what's the full story on that, but I think it was dope. It for me, it tied everything up and gave me the satisfaction that we're going to see more of Moon Knight, because they just introduced Jake Lockley, so that's a whole new thing we got to. That's going to be the next story. Is it going to be another season of the show? Is it going to be part of a movie? You know what I'm saying? That's the only question.
Well, I think I'll speak for everybody here when I say the asylum, was it real? I mean, because when he died, it was like, in a dreamscape, and then they go to the asylum, and then I don't the asylum part. I just
Well, do you remember this
I don't
part?
know. I don't know if it's real or not. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I'm
it.
not sure either.
Well, remember this part, right, Sada?
Yeah, I remember that part. Yeah.
So if it was real, that wouldn't have happened, right? That's Harrow as doctor, as the psychiatrist. But if his feet are bleeding, that's Harrow, the nut job, the cult leader, the guy that put glass in his shoes in the first episode. So it tells us that he's not really a doctor.
Right, we know that, but
yeah, so the asylum isn't real.
Right. So the asylum is all in his head.
I don't know if it's in his head or if it's a multiverse, if it's a realm. That's the question.
Yeah, it could be a realm. Right. That's the question we want answered. Like,
that's what
what is that place?
Right. Yeah.
Oh man.
I don't know. I like the questions that they posed.
So can I ask? Can I ask a question? Do you think like
Yeah.
how you think that they're gonna like fit Moon Knight into like the rest of like the MCU?
I'm
Well,
not
you
sure.
got you got
Not
West Coast Avengers that he's part of. You got Midnight Sun
Yeah.
with Blade and Ghost Rider and Morbius.
We do know Kang is the next big bad coming in
Yeah.
the
And
MCU.
Kang, right? And
And he's
Ramatut,
got a lot of
Are y'all
right. He's got
sure?
a lot of Egyptian ties. He's got a
yeah,
lot of Egyptian
Ramatut,
ties. So
yeah.
yeah. So Moon
I
Knight,
hope so.
we
I hope so. I I like King. I really hope so. Yeah, sure about this though. But it does
Oh
make
yeah,
sense though.
Yeah, Kang's the next big bad for
oh yeah,
Phase 4.
yeah, we know that. Right.
100%.
All
Yeah,
right, so
100%.
now I kind of see how like Moon Knight ties right into it. So okay.
Yeah, we
Yeah, the
know. Yeah.
Egyptian lore is and also it ties into the mutants as well. It ties into Apocalypse. Um, the first mutant. Check this shit out.
So Moon Knight's connected to Apocalypse as well.
Well,
No.
that's going to take some setup if it does.
No, I'm not saying Moon
I
Knight.
know Apocalypse has like connections to like the whole Egyptian thing as well and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, is that really like a like that's Apocalypse like human form right there? Oh,
This is
okay.
him. This is him. Yeah, I mean, that's how he really looked. Like he was like an outcast.
Ah.
And yeah, but he was this Egyptian guy, and this is the
Got
whole
to
shit.
see
This
Alright.
about
book
it.
is
Yeah.
dope. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's the whole
That artwork is amazing.
it's super dope. That shit is hella dope. But yeah, like the whole Egyptian thing has a lot, just like the Norse, Marvel's got the Norse god, the Norse gods and all of that, and they've got the Egyptian gods, and they've got the Greek gods. But we did the whole Norse thing, we did Asgard and all of that. So I think this one's gonna be the Egyptian stuff from Marvel.
Well, Marvel better get ready for the Hoteps. I ain't
The
gonna lie.
Hotep's gonna be yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be the Hotep joint. It's gonna be the Hotep phase right here. A couple of dope screenshots from the episode.
Yeah.
That's Moon Knight flying.
Marvel's like CGI is like top of the line, like amazing. But do you think that's like Disney helping them out with that, or like?
I mean, Disney,
Disney's got their
Pixar,
own studio. Yeah, they got their own.
yeah,
They
They
have
have
Disney,
their
Pixar
own
Pixar.
stuff like that. Yeah.
animation studios. They got people that do this stuff, digitally draw
Mhm.
everything. So this is
Yeah.
all Disney right here.
Yeah. This is amazing. Like.
Like that shit. And it reminded me of Big Trouble in Little China when Shang Egg Shen and I was gonna call him Shang Tsung, uh and they were fighting in that one scene where there was in the underground. Remember they was shooting. Egg Shen had the crystal, and uh, why is his name? It's on the tip of my tongue.
Jack,
Because
Jack.
I keep saying Shang Tsung. Not Shang Tsung, but who Shang Tsung is based on.
Oh. His name was something Lee. It's on the tip of my
It's
his
so
name was
weird that
wait. Just keep talking. It'll come to me. Just keep going. Keep going. It'll
fuck.
come to me. It's something Lee.
Now you fucking
Sung
me up.
Lee. Is it Sung Lee?
No. Shit. Dude, this is like my favorite movie, and I know this is so bizarre right now. But yeah, like Raiden was taken from it with the lightning guy with the big hat. That's what Raiden was based on. And Shang Tsung was based on the big bad from that movie that is so bizarre. I can't think of his name right now. That shit's
Was it
crazy. But fuck, are you kidding me right now?
okay. You had Egg Chen, Wang Chi, Lopan. David Lopan.
Lopan.
David
Low
Lopan.
fucking pan. Yeah,
Because
so
yeah, Mao
Lopan.
Mao Yin. Mao Yin was Wang Chi's girl.
Right. She
And
was
then
the one with the green eyes.
Gracie had green eyes.
Gracie had green eyes too. But
Gracie had
yeah,
green eyes,
so
yeah.
Eggshin and Lopan, they were fighting, and when they were like, shooting beams at each other and shit, and you saw like these two gods that like they were being the avatars for in the mist, like in the light, like in the smoke behind
Oh
them.
yeah, when they were doing the match. Yeah, when he was like, yeah, when the guy he
Yeah,
was like, oh, peasant. He was like peasant magic.
yeah, yeah.
They
You never,
started,
you
yeah,
never
they had
could
the
beat me.
avatars fight, and they were doing
Yeah,
all this, and they were going like, yeah,
mhm.
that was dope.
You never could beat
Yeah, they
me,
were.
action.
Yeah, he was like peasant
But
magic.
yeah, it was like this shit. But yeah, man, and then we got to see Stephen Moon, Mr. Knight, finally come into his own and start whooping ass. That was a dope scene. Um, and then when Moon Knight right here, you can kind of see where he shot the grappling hook out.
Right. Looked
That
like he
is,
missed, but he didn't.
yeah, but he used the grappling hook, which was dope, man. Because if you play the video games like Ultimate Alliance and shit like that, you see that's a dope weapon he's got.
I done stole that grappling gun. You think they can really make one of those in real life? I put that in my
Yeah,
comment.
man.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
man. I
They got
got
him.
one. I got one, man. They make 'em.
You always have
They
that
make
on
'em.
standby. On
I got
standby.
one, bro.
It's sitting
It
right
works.
there, and it's not.
Yeah,
It
like
really
right there
works.
on standby.
Listen, I
Why was
got
that
one,
right
and it
there?
really. Listen,
Humble
this joint
brag.
works, man. If you want to swing from buildings, I got you.
Pull it out.
Man,
Pull it out right
I
now.
got you, man. I
Bust a
got
shot
you,
with it.
man.
I can see somebody actually trying that too. Like,
Right.
shoot, let me smoke enough weed. I might try it. Shit.
Hey,
Sada,
listen,
what did you think about the this character here?
Yep.
I thought she was dope. I like how she became the avatar for Tara. I wonder if that's gonna carry into season 2. I don't remember there being like a conclusion to that. So I wonder if that's gonna carry. But her costume was dope. Her fight scenes were dope. I liked Layla. The finale in general, though, I feel the exact opposite. I didn't like the finale, not
Okay.
entirely. I felt like there was a lot of buildup, but not the payoff wasn't there. Like for Jake Lockley, I felt like outside of the post-credit scene, you could have just had that be his first like true appearance. You didn't have to do the buildup between 3 and 4. Because you didn't bring him in. You didn't bring him in episode 5 when story-wise it would have made the most sense. And then episode 6, Mark is in danger, and then Jake comes in, but it happens off screen, and the threat is neutralized off screen. So it's like once again, the action happens off screen. So it's like, oh, but yeah, I don't know. I felt like this was an okay finale. We had like 35 minutes to really wrap everything up, which is crazy to think about. And I felt like, yeah, they did kind of, wrap it up, but it felt kind of rushed. But that's just me. I was trying to listen to see, like, someone who enjoys the finale. Like maybe I'm missing something, but it's like,
It's just that, like, he, for comic fans and for anybody that researched or looked up Moon Knight, everyone knows there's a third personality. And so in those previous episodes, they had to make reference to it. Why they chose to not bring him in, I'm guessing, is because they figured casual fans, it would just be too much to have 3 personalities. People would be getting confused between Mark and Jake, like which one's who's who now. I think juggling 2 personalities, 2 characters, 2 CGIs, you got 2 guys, 2 twins, to have all 3 standing there talking to each other. I think they just did it for that reason, to make it a little bit.
Reno, it took 5 episodes for us to realize that Mark is the real personality, and Steven is the made up personality. Like when it first comes in, you think Steven is the main personality and Mark is the alter ego.
I didn't
but it's
think
not.
that.
I did. I thought Mark.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I did. I thought Steven was the main personality, and Mark was the escape personality, or the personality hiding within. but it's actually the opposite.
Yeah,
Steven
and they
created
did
Mark.
set it
I
up.
thought,
They did
that's
set it
how
up
it
like
looked to
that.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that's
then
how it looked to me.
that's how they wanted it to look. That's how they wanted it to look. That was definitely their intention. I didn't think that just because I knew about Moon Knight and I knew it wouldn't make sense for this goofy dude to be Moon Knight. I knew there had to be, and I knew, I don't know. I guess maybe just knowing from the comics and stuff like that, maybe it's why I kind of wasn't fooled
Right.
by their setup.
Oh, by it,
But
yeah.
yeah,
Because I
but yeah,
was,
you're
I
right.
was fooled.
My
I was
big
fooled.
my big complaint, my only complaint with this show is not enough. It was too. They either should have given us at least 3 more episodes, or they should have crammed that story they did tell into like the first 3 and gave us the rest. So I agree with you on that side of the whole thing wasn't paced well.
I think if it had 4 more episodes, I would be so hyped. Like this would be one of my favorite episodes. If
4
we
more
had
would have been great. Yeah,
but we don't. So it's like, damn. Now we gotta wait till season 2, if we even get one.
Right? No, we will, and that's what I think. You have to look at it as. You have to look at it like this is like the first half or the first part of a larger story. It's not meant to be a wholly contained story. Episode 1 to 6 is not the whole story. That's why it was the way it was, because they are planning much more into continuation.
I mean, I understand that, but I feel like them looking to the future is like the biggest detriment to these MCU shows, with the exception of a few, because you don't focus on the here and now. You're focused on the future. So you have to use these shows as like a vehicle for what's to come. And I want to wrap up what we have right now. Like, I don't want to wait until season 2 to get a full and complete story for season 1. Like, that's a little bit ridiculous to me. But
no, you're not wrong.
But I get what you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying.
No, you're not wrong. But that's their gimmick.
Yeah.
It's it's like how when a TV show is made for every episode to be almost a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
To make you watch for the next, so it never does wrap up. They never do contain it. It's always leaving you hanging for the next thing. It's that serial, classic serial cliffhanger format that they're using, and that's their gimmick. And unfortunately, that's just what we got to deal with. But I don't, that's their gimmick. But I think also Stu, me, people that grew up in the 80s, and we had to suffer with 80s comic book movies and 90s comic book movies. The stuff we have now is just so much better.
We had some good stuff. We had some good stuff.
Batman and Robin with the Riddler, Jim Carrey Riddler.
Right, yeah. Besides the Punisher, I mean, we didn't do too bad. The Punisher was bad.
I mean, bro, there was some bad movies. Like, I mean, there was some bad Fantastic Fours.
The Turtles movies were great. You can't say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles weren't good.
The first one was cool. No, the second one was decent. But yeah,
second was
but
good,
no, but
bro. Yeah.
we I'm just saying, like, for us, for me anyway, it's like I feel like privileged that we live in a time where we're actually getting
we can actually get some
amazing comic book content. Yeah, man. Like, so for me, it's amazing.
No, I agree with you on that. Yeah, it's
amazing. And there's a YouTuber. There's a YouTuber called Your Movie Sucks or something like that. It's like YMS.
Yeah, I'm subscribed to him. Yeah.
Yeah, and he basically tears down every movie that he does a thing. He just like rips it apart. And I was, watching it. My son watches it, and I was looking in, and I was like, I do that when I'm watching like every movie. I tear shit up. I'm like, yo, well, that don't make sense. Well, how do they do that? Why would they do that? I'm doing that the whole time. You could pretty much do that with every movie. I mean, I could nitpick and dissect and come up with shit that's wrong with every Marvel movie that I love, and but
me personally, I don't do that. I
just want to have fun with it and just like it for what it is, and I'm like, I feel privileged that we
And,
get what we get.
and
We live in a-
as like an audience consumer and stuff like that, sometimes I'm not gonna lie, like they did that with Star Wars a lot. When Star Wars got Disney, everyone was just like ripping it to shreds, and I'm like, like I get it, it's kind of bad, but you don't gotta like, at the end of the day, people took their time out to put this together. You know what I mean? Like you ripping apart like a person's whole creative identity and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I know I'd be hurt. I don't know about everybody else. If I was on that set and the way they was like going to town, so you know what I mean? Like you don't.
Well,
Gotta,
it's like fucking Morbius. Like, look at Jared Leto. Like he's been like, man, y'all just tearing my shit up because motherfuckers hated Morbius. And
they didn't like him as the Joker, which I did. So Jared Leto, if you out there, I liked you as the Joker, man. I don't care what nobody say.
Yeah,
I thought you played
favorite
the Joker. Because it was you know what it was? I liked about his Joker. It was more modern. It was creative. And it had a modern feel to it. Like it was a twist. It was a twist on the Joker that we had never seen, but it was just a modern Joker. Like if Joker had a cell phone, he'd be Jared Leto's Joker. And that's just what it was because you think about it, just the way the tattoos and all of that, it was modern, bro. It was a very, very modern take on the Joker, man.
It was that.
But I didn't like it.
Right. And it could have been hard to swallow for a lot of people. But when Heath Ledger did it, it was kind of hard for people to swallow too. But then when they go back and they watch it, it was like, damn, that was kind of brilliant.
Oh no!
I always love Heath.
Not the same thing with Jared. No. Not for me.
Remember, Heath Ledger was already, I think he was already deceased by the time Heath Ledger's one came out.
Yeah, people loved Heath Ledger's pretty much off top. It was
because he was like already had passed away, I think, prior to the movie coming out.
I just can't understand people that think it's better than Jack Nicholson, man, because Jack Nicholson is the Joker, man. That's just. But again,
Jack Nicholson.
Again, we're talking about. We have generational gaps.
That's those 80s. That's those 80s Batman movie. That's what I was talking about. Jim Carrey's Riddler.
Well, but
Jim Carrey's Riddler was great. I don't care what
I liked his Riddler. I did.
His Riddler was great. Yeah,
Tim Burton.
His Riddler was great. Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face is what destroyed that shit. That was trash. And Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze. I don't know, man.
I liked it, Mr. Freeze. I liked the Arnie as Freeze.
Those are satire. It had to be satire.
I didn't like Bane, and I didn't like Bane, Batgirl, or Poison Ivy. Take them out of that movie. It's a whole different.
They had a Bane in those old ones too.
Yeah, there was a Bane in that last Batman movie.
You wouldn't know it because he wasn't prominent. Like Bane should always be the main. Bane should be the main villain when he's in.
He's the main villain, yeah.
When Bane's in something, he should be the main villain. He should be the mastermind. But he's always like the.
And above all else, he should be Spanish.
Absolutely, he's Latino
with an accent, with a heavy Spanish accent.
Word.
None of that watered down trash.
Yo, Cooks, if you want to hop on, man, you got the link.
Lito's Way. Yeah.
Lito's Way. I don't remember Uma Thurman's Poison Ivy.
Yeah,
that was horrible. Good. I want you to have that image burned in your brain. So Lito's Way. I'm glad you don't.
That's a good thing. You don't need to remember that Poison Ivy.
You don't need to remember Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy.
Oh, is that the only one we have? Outside of Batwoman, I think that was it. Oh,
yeah, I don't
Batgirl, we had Batgirl and Uma Thurman. Batgirl was just horrible. You could have kept Batgirl.
It made no sense. Oh God,
it made no sense, man.
Alicia Silverstone.
They just threw her in towards the end of the film.
Yeah, it made I don't even remember that.
Yeah, it made no sense because remember she was stealing a bike at night. She was going out racing, and Alfred was her uncle, which made no sense.
Yeah, like what was that about?
Right, she's actually the daughter of Commissioner Gordon. Commissioner Gordon's daughter is Batgirl. We know that for a fact.
Right.
Well,
it's such a simple thing that they changed.
Wait a minute, Miss Sada. Speaking of Batgirl,
yeah,
and things like I did watch Catwoman.
Hunted.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I will say I agree with you. Wait, let me tell you. I think I know why y'all didn't like it. The dialogue was so cheesy.
It was just so bad.
It was the cheesiest dialogue. But I will say the art was good, the action was great, and they had some serious serious villains in that. They had Dr. Zhao in there. Zhu, Dr. Zhu. That right there won me over as being like a good comic movie because you don't hear you got to be a serious DC fan to know all those villains in there. Like Dr. Zhu was like that was that I had to take my hat off to that because the last comic I read that he was in, he had a fight with Peacemaker and Peacemaker killed him. So you know what I mean? I thought that was just great, man. The way they put those villains in there, it was just I was like, and you had Solomon Grundy.
Yeah, but the way he was defeated was complete bull. So I couldn't even enjoy him being in the film. Like, you literally had Catwoman take him on one-on-one. That's insane to me. Like, that's literally insane. It should have been her and Batwoman taking him on. Then I could get behind it. But her one-on-one, nah. I don't.
It could happen. It
could, but the way that it went about, I was like you just stick dynamite in his mouth and that's it.
Yeah, the way she did it, yeah, I agree with you on that. The way she did it, I didn't like that. Well, remember he regenerates, so he can't die. He's already dead.
That's true.
But Solomon Grundy's went toe to toe with Superman.
That makes sense.
Yeah, he's went toe to toe with Superman. So that, like I said, I can't sit there and say I didn't like it. The dialogue was really cheesy. I really had to say it was cheesy, but it was good. I mean, yeah,
Batwoman. Hey, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Shoot, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I'm not even gonna lie. I did enjoy it. I mean, you had Batwoman in there. You had Zhu. I mean, Dr. Zhu. Zun. I forgot. Zhu. Listen, to have him in there, period, I was like, they dug deep on the villain list for that one. I mean, like I said, the last time I saw him, he got into a fight with Peacemaker and Peacemaker killed him. So you can't take that away from that movie. You know what I mean? It was just good. And like I said, with Solomon Grundy in there, that threw me for then they had the League of Assassins, Talia Ghul was in it. I mean, it was just
y'all talking about the animated joint?
Yeah, Catwoman Hunted.
Yeah, it was good, right? I like it. It was good. A little cheesy dialogue,
right?
But it was good.
Yeah,
it was good, man. It was good.
Glad
like I said,
somebody enjoys it. I'm so glad because it couldn't be
me. Well, because you got Black Mask in there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You got Tobias Well. I was like, oh, like they dug deep, bro. They dug deep on these joints. You got Cheshire. When Cheshire showed up, I was like, oh, Cheshire against Catwoman. All right, that's one I've never seen before. Yeah, Nosferatu. Nosferatu's another one that was in there. That
which one of the pardon me for cutting your wisdom, right? Which one of those like animated DC films would you like suggest me to like watch, like top 3? Because I've seen a couple of them. Like
top 3. Oh, I got you. Batman,
the Killing
Superman,
Joke.
Batman,
Under the Red Hood. Under the Red Hood.
Batman
and Hush.
Oh no.
No, I had to disagree with you.
Yeah, definitely
I would say Batman and Superman Public Enemies.
If you read Hush,
I would say Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yes.
And I would say Batman under the Red Hood.
Under the Red Hood. That's number one.
That's
number one. Under the Red Hood.
I don't know about number one.
Number one.
Trust me.
It's on HBO Max.
Yeah. Trust me.
I would go with Stu's list and start there.
Is it like an Apocalypse War or something like that? Because I was more going towards the Constantine ones. I don't know why. I was like
I would say watch them all. See, I got them all. I would say watch them all. Yeah, I would say watch them all. But
I like all of them.
3 that you had to. If it was 3 you had to watch, I'll watch those 3 first.
Yep.
Yeah.
They even had Mr. They had Mr. Yakuza.
Wait, what's the one with the crime? What's the one with the crime? The syndicate, the mafia.
That's Crisis on Infinite.
That's
Earth,
Crisis on Infinite Earth.
Yeah.
All right, that and Under the Red Hood. That's my recommendations.
Suggest like Flashpoint.
Now check it.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
Flashpoint.
Flashpoint.
Oh,
100%.
Flashpoint is dope too.
That's
Yeah.
my
Flashpoint is
three.
dope too.
That's my three. Flashpoint, Under the Red Hood, and Crisis on Infinite. That's
Now
my top
Sada, they had Mr. Yakuza in there, and he mentioned that he trained with Lady Shiva. And then remember, Catwoman was like, "No."
I picked the Flashpoint Beyond today.
He was like, she was like,
Oh
"You might
yeah,
have
I
been
just
trained."
sold a gang of
She said you might have trained with Lady
comics,
Shiva,
too.
but I was trained by Lady Shiva. And she was like,
But I'm just like, how does she even get access to her? Because Catwoman doesn't even have the connects like that. I mean, I guess via her boyfriend, but
"Nah, it's true. She did train with. She did train with Lady Shiva. That is true. She did. Then you got Dr. Zen. Dr. Zen to me was like, I was blown away. I was like, yo, I was like, Dr. Zen? Like, yeah, like the villain list in that movie was just A.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the villain list was kind of cool because they, like you said, they did dig deep, but I felt like how some of them were used, I was like, oh, but I can't take that away from them. The villain list was,
right? Remember Ladama? Yeah, Ladama in there. Ladama was she was that right there won me over. Then you had Moxie Manhunter. I was like, Manheim. I was like, dang, man. Moxie was like, I haven't seen Moxie. This is my first time ever seeing Moxie on anything outside of a comic. All of those characters, I've never seen them on anything outside of a comic. That's why I was just kind of hyped for it. I think maybe that's what won me over for it. It's just
that's not a bad thing to win you over. That's not a terrible thing. Yeah. What else do I like? That's kind of a broad question. What do you mean? Like, what else do I like in DC in general? That's a very broad question. I don't really know how to answer that.
Yeah, Sada.
I think you mean animated.
Like animated? Oh,
yeah.
And Sada, they had your favorite character. And Sada, they had your favorite character in there too.
Which
Barbara
one?
Minerva. Barbara Minerva, and we know exactly who she is.
Yeah.
Now that was the one.
So what else do you like?
Now see, check it how you felt about.
In terms of like animation, take your pick. DC wise, I pretty much love all of them outside of like a few. Marvel, the list is a lot smaller. Yeah, the list is a lot smaller for like Marvel animation. Oh no, you're fine. I was just trying to understand what you were asking. Yeah, as far as DC, I mean, I really like all of the animated films outside of a couple. So take your pick. Yeah. It's pretty broad in terms of like what I like. Marvel animation list is a lot smaller because they just they're not the best in that department. So
okay, well guys, I do want to do one thing and show the Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer and talk about y'all check this shit out. It's fucking amazing. Watch this.
They're coming. Stay hidden, or we will not survive.
Leave us alone.
When the time comes, he must be trained.
Like you trained his father? You still want Kenobi. He's gone.
Maybe you've been looking in the wrong places. I want every lowlife and bounty hunter to squeeze him. You can't run, Obi-Wan! You can't escape him!
Hey, yo. That's nothing. Yeah.
Man, that shit. Yo,
Let's
Darth
see.
Vader.
All the people who hated on Star Wars when we talk about that.
Telling you, man, that shit's gonna be epic. I'm telling you. LaRue, what was his name? Lars. Yo, he was like he was Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan said he wanted to train Luke. Did you see that?
Man, Obi-Wan. That was Luke doing the whole.
Nah.
Who
Luke
was
is
the
just a
kid?
baby at this point. Luke is
Who,
just a little kid. Oh yeah, Luke's the little kid. Yeah. But yeah, he wanted to train him. I didn't know that. And what's his name?
so
Cousin or his uncle or whatever. Huh?
let me ask this, right? Let me ask this, right? And I think that was it's not the Mandalorian. What's the show after Mandalorian? That's
Book of
Boba
Boba
Fett.
Fett.
Book of
Yeah.
Boba Fett. All right, they had a guy that looked just like Luke Skywalker. Is that a new actor, or that was the same actor, or like, how did that work?
CGI. That was
That was
CGI.
Yeah,
that
that's
was some Tupac
CGI.
at Coachella type stuff.
Well,
They brought Tupac out in the 3D
sort
form.
of. Yeah, I mean, it's like deep fake
They
shit.
call them
It's like
deep
deep
fakes.
fake.
Yeah, they call them deep fakes. Yeah.
Oh, that's smart.
It's like that kind of shit. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And that was an ill scene too. It was straight out of the Last Samurai. Not the Last Samurai.
The Last Jedi.
Shogun Assassin, where he had the boy choose between the sword or the ball. You know what I'm saying? Me or your mother. Luke had Grogu choose between the armor or the lightsaber. Shit was just ill. Only good thing about that series, the rest of it was trash. But
Don't
but
do that.
this shit gonna be epic. Luke or Obi-Wan wanted to train Luke, and the uncle was like you trained his father. You know what I mean, who ends up getting killed and turns into Darth Vader. So he was like, yeah, nah, dog, that's not gonna happen. So I always thought that Obi-Wan didn't train him because they were hiding from Order 66. Didn't you, Stu?
Yeah. That would be my immediate thought. Yeah. That's the reason why you want to train. And they had the hunt. They had the sisters out there hunting down Jedi and the Inquisitor
Right,
or anybody that was force sensitive for that matter.
right. That's Order 66. Yeah, the Inquisitor, man. That shit looks rough, man. I think that shit looks dope. I cannot wait. And Darth Vader, um, at the end too. You saw Darth Vader at the end. So I was always wondering if we were gonna get Anakin or Darth Vader because I wasn't exactly sure where the timeline landed or whatever, or how they were
Well,
gonna
it would have
play
to
it.
be. It would have to be Darth Vader because
Well, it would
at the
have to
end of the
be, yeah.
last at the end of the last movie, he had already dubbed. He gave him his Darth.
Right.
Palpatine gave him his Darth, and
And
it
then
was on and popping after that.
no, yeah, he became Darth
Yeah, it
Vader.
was in. Yeah,
They put him in the
yeah. Because
suit and
remember,
all
he
of
was
that.
like a rise. Because you gotta, in order for you to be a Sith, you gotta have Darth in front of your name. So, he gave him his Darth status, and that was it. It was on and popping. So
Yeah,
everything that happens after that will be in this Obi-Wan series.
right. Exactly. But I wasn't sure if they were. I'm just saying, I'm glad that they're following that, the way it's supposed to go, because I was just worried, man, with the things we got with Boba Fett and the Teletubbies on the Vespas and the whole thing, man. It was just it makes me, with Kathleen Karen Kennedy running shit. I don't know, man. Sometimes I be worried, man, and they got the High Republic garbage out there, and I mean, you got
You
Luke
hate High
Skywalker.
Republic too? Oh my god.
Oh, Luke Skywalker is a hermit drinking out of walrus titties and all of this, man. That's not where Luke Skywalker was at that time. And they botched all of that. So that's not where Luke was supposed to be. So I wasn't sure, man. I was worried that they were gonna keep Anakin as, Anakin, because they kept promoting this the duel again against Obi-Wan and what's his name? Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor were gonna have a they were gonna have a rematch kind of thing. So I was just man, I'm just glad that it's gonna be Darth Vader and not Anakin that he fights. That's refreshing to know. I think that this show looks like it's gonna be. I don't know, Stu. You think this is going? I mean, you think this is gonna be on the level of Mandalorian, or better, or worse, or what?
It's hard to say, man. Looking forward, I would say it might be. I would say it's probably going to be better because they got so many criticisms about Boba Fett, and everybody loved Mandalorian. So, if they wanted to be successful, they got to go the Mandalorian route, man. You got to make it spaghetti western, straight Star Wars, nothing hokey in between.
Right.
Keep it Star Wars. Tell the story that we haven't seen yet, which is what people keep asking for. The stories we want to know but haven't seen, and not the story that the director wants to tell but nobody wants to see.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what they did.
Let me ask a question. People really hated the book of Boba Fett.
Oh
Some
yeah.
people did, yeah, bro.
Like
It
most
had a
people,
lot of like
it did.
action. Like it was
And
like
it did horrible on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, people really hated that show. And honestly, though, people that weren't already big Star Wars fans, I've found they didn't mind it so much. It's the people who were big Star Wars fans that really hated that show because it destroyed Boba Fett as a character, as the character we've known and loved. And yeah, and it was just hokey and cheesy and corny and just not good.
So was Boba Fett like painted in the movies as like this like super villain type of person or like
Yeah, like a real badass, like a
You
real
know, you know what,
mysterious.
Fleezes, if you go back and you watch Star Wars, it was smooth. And then you watch Empire, they introduced a lot of new characters. One of the characters they introduced that everybody was interested in, but never really got to see much of was Boba Fett. And so we were like, yo, who is this dude? Like he just looked it cool. He was just standing there. And Darth Vader
Right,
walks up to him and says, no disintegrations. And then he
right.
takes off. The last scene in the movie, he takes off with Han Solo in this ship that we've never seen before. We're like, yo, what kind of ship is that? Yo.
It was hella
And
weird.
the first 5 minutes of the last movie, he dies. We're like, dang, like, yo, like what is up with this? Like Boba Fett is supposed to be this badass bounty hunter that we've never got to see the badassery
Yeah, and
of
I
Boba
mean, he
Fett.
just had one of the coolest looks, the
Suits,
helmet,
looks,
he just looked
everything.
so
Oh,
dope. Yeah, everything about him was mysterious, and he was just supposed to be the baddest bounty hunter that Darth Vader goes to when he wants some shit done. Like, this is like the baddest motherfucker in the galaxy. You know what I'm saying? And then
first episode
they
he's getting
give
like
us,
ass kicked and shit.
and then we get this grandpa that he's super like indecisive. He's not. He's supposed to be the new Daimo, the new crime boss of the town, but
right.
he's got no balls. He's not doing nothing right. It was that part of it. So then you have this little gang of millennials on fucking little Vespas with candy paint jobs. Where the
Did you
fuck they
go
getting
to
candy paint jobs in Tatooine?
Yeah, there's
Come on,
nothing.
man.
There's nothing colorful in Tatooine.
Everything in Tatooine is beige and gray.
Or brown and brown. Yeah,
Word.
that is true. Everything's brown, beige, or gray.
See, I was looking at it just like as like a casual kind of Star Wars fan, just like, oh,
Right.
like this, like I like a lot of like a lot of action stuff like that, just kind of But now I can understand how like what I mean, taking a character that y'all like know and love and just kind of like, come on, this dude isn't like a badass and like what I mean. I can understand that, what I mean. It kind of fucks up the lore and stuff like that.
It was a lot of that. Yeah, it was a lot of that. But I think plus we were shocked. Like Mandalorian was so good, and because I'm gonna tell you what Mandalorian did. We waited years, we waited decades for the first trilogy, the prequel trilogy. Waited decades for that shit. It came out, it was huge, and a lot of us didn't know if we'd ever see another Star Wars movie, if he'd ever make any more. But we all, in the back of our mind, hoped there would be another trilogy somewhere in the future, far, far away. But And then so it came, and Force Unleashed, and they're gonna do another sequel, and oh my god. And then we got the first one, which is basically a carbon reboot of the first movie with shittier, whacker characters. And then the second movie didn't follow where the first movie was going at all. It was a completely different writer and director, changed the direction of everything that the first movie was trying to do, completely just fucked it up and didn't make no sense. Luke Skywalker, the big hero of the galaxy, who, if you've been reading the novels and the comics and the video games and everything you've been following since the old Star Wars, you know he's the height of Jedi power. He's the top dopest master of all time. Like, he's one of the illest things in the galaxy. And we get this hermit, drinking milk out of walrus titties and scared to do shit and talking about the Force, needs to end and all of this. The Jedi need to end. It was just like a slap in the face. So fast forward, we feel like, a lot of Star Wars fans said they were done. Like, I'm done with Star Wars. I'm not a fan no more. Like, fuck it, it's over. George Lucas sold it. Disney owns it. It's trash. So a lot of people had no faith. We get The Mandalorian, and it's fucking brilliant. It's phenomenal. It's Star Wars that we grew up on. It's the Star Wars we would want to see. You know what I mean? It's like the live action version of Clone Wars or some of the dope cartoons, but better. It was just everything. It was like a resurgence. Like, Star Wars is back. We have hope. The final episode, there is literal playlists of YouTube videos of 40 and 50-year-old men bawling like babies reacting to that scene. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's how. And then we get Book of Boba Fett, and it's like, damn, this is okay. So maybe Star Wars isn't back. Maybe it's not saved. Maybe it is fucked, because this is exactly where I expected it to go after that sequel trilogy. But we still hold out faith because we're Star Wars fans and we never give up. And we still have faith that Mandalorian season 3 is going to be the shit again. And Obi-Wan is here now. And this movie, or this Obi-Wan show, it looks from the trailer like we'll get the good quality of Star Wars that we were looking for, that we got in Mandalorian. But what I'm seeing is even a higher level of special effects and budget. You know what I'm saying? It seems more film level budget than Mandalorian did. Mandalorian was like TV show, and it makes sense because Mandalorian was experimental. Star Wars was, people didn't know what was up with it. Its fate was uncertain. And so they didn't, dump a boatload of cash, but you had the writer and director from Clone Wars, who's like Dave Filoni is like the biggest, like, George Lucas nerd on the planet. He's like a disciple of this man, and he knows what George Lucas's Star Wars looks like. And he was brought in to make the Clone Wars show by George Lucas directly, and he did Mandalorian, him and Jon Favreau. Well, then they ruin that chemistry. They get rid of Filoni. Not get rid of him, but they bring in Robert Rodriguez to direct Boba Fett, and we're like, oh fuck, this is gonna be better than Mandalorian. This is gonna be, because Robert Rodriguez, I mean, that's El Mariachi, right? Desperado, like some of the illest action movies of all time. This man is a master of horror and action and shit like that. So, the expectations were, it's Boba Fett, it's Robert Rodriguez. You know what I'm saying? It's Star Wars. It's supposed to be the next fucking second coming of the Lord, and it just was the opposite. But I think the budget that they've got now, because of the success of Mandalorian, Grogu, merchandise, bro, they made $1 billion off Grogu, bro. Straight up. That's $1 billion character. And so they've got a budget that they're not scared to dump into it now. So I got a lot of faith, man, for Obi-Wan. Looks fucking amazing.
Me too.
Yeah, the budget looks like it's on par with Star Wars, what it should be. Why they soften up them characters? Yeah, it was that's what I'm saying. Like Boba Fett is not soft like that. That was whack. You know what I mean? But you know, Darth Vader missed his best chance to kill Obi-Wan on Tatooine, but the shadow of Vader loomed across the galaxy. He was the Emperor's greatest enforcer, and he was tasked to hunt down any survivors of Order 66, right? A task he fulfilled with the help of a group of Force sensitives known as the Inquisitors. And yet, for all that, for all that's the case, there were two Jedi they failed to locate, Yoda and Obi-Wan, that they knew of. There was others, but those were two that they were really looking for. Two major generals in the Jedi army. And there is a sense in which Yoda was Vader's greatest failure. Recent Star Wars comics have revealed it was possible to locate Yoda by working back from his last known location, but Vader never attempted to perform such deductive feats. He and the Inquisitors were content to wait, and confident that the Jedi would be unable to help themselves because it is the very nature of light to shine. And so they simply watched, looking for any hint of the Force, to call out and give them, an idea where these guys were. And Yoda escaped because he hid on a world without any sentient inhabitants, meaning he was never tempted to intervene. Obi-Wan, meanwhile, had a mission on the desert world of Tatooine, and the Jedi believed this was the one planet that Darth Vader would never return to. This is the planet where Darth Vader is from. This is the planet where Anakin was born and raised, where his mother was killed and raped and you know what I'm saying, like enslaved. So, but ironically, Star Wars tie-ins have revealed Darth Vader could have actually found Obi-Wan Kenobi easily and potentially even taken his son Luke back. Charles Soule and Giuseppe Cominucci's Darth Vader number 20, which is the current Darth Vader issue, is set shortly after the events of Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, where Anakin becomes Vader, and following the formation of the famous Sith Inquisitors, which we saw in the animated shows, Rebels and shit. But Darth Vader desires a planet from the Empire, a place he can reshape according to his will, and Palpatine initially offers him Naboo, before going on to suggest Tatooine itself. He said, "You can burn its sands to glass." The Emperor told him. He said, "Repay your suffering there 1,000 times over." And had Darth Vader accepted his gift, claiming Tatooine as his own, he would have unwittingly discovered Obi-Wan and Luke. He would have found them. And Yoda and Obi-Wan would never know how close their plans almost came to ruin. Tatooine was a lot more significant than it seems because it is situated near the Triellus trade route, one of the 3 hyperspace routes forming a so-called spice triangle trade network used by strugglers to transport spice to outer rim planets. And this would have been a good base for a Sith Lord. For Darth Vader would have been able to like slip surreptitiously from his home and reach distant worlds at speed. Fortunately for the galaxy, though, Obi-Wan's guess that Vader would never return to Tatooine was right. And Vader chose Mustafar instead, which is the lava planet where he got his arms and legs cut off by Obi-Wan and became Darth Vader, seeking to master the Force virgins that he had sensed there. And the Emperor was right. Had Darth Vader claimed Tatooine, he would have likely begun raising the desert world, and no ship would have been allowed to escape his wrath. Assuming Obi-Wan did not die in a planetary bombardment, the Jedi Master would have been forced to reveal himself, and it's certainly possible Darth Vader would have sensed the Force potential of the young Luke Skywalker, claiming him for himself, turning him to the dark side, and you know, fulfilling that destiny he wanted him to fulfill. Darth Vader unknowingly passed on that chance, and the future headed in a different direction that we have, you know, the story that we have now. But it's very interesting to know that, man, that and I always wondered that, like, why did Vader not find, why did he not know, like, Tatooine, that's where he's from, and it seemed coincidental that they put Luke in that same place to hide him. I always thought that was odd, but it's coming out on Friday, May 27th. But today is May the 4th. Stu.
May the 4th be with you.
Right. May the 4th. May the 4th be with you.
Could we make like May the 4th like MF Doom Day also? Nah. Like May M for May 4th F, like MF Day. Nah, maybe not. Nah. Don't worry about it.
I don't know.
October 31st got to be MF Doom Day.
That'd be cool, right? Yeah, he has like the mask face. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when
but that's
he
when
died, right? That's when we found out. So he died.
We found out on New Year's or something like that.
We found out on New Year's he died on Halloween. Yeah,
he died on Halloween. We found out on New Year's. He died on Halloween. Yeah.
Shit, crazy. But yeah, Vader. Yeah, Vader.
They released that trailer today.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm hyped, man. That Vader's.
Oh, they had to.
Yeah, right. Right in time.
Yeah, Vader's gonna be in it. From what I've read, they claim that it's gonna be good. It's gonna answer a lot of questions. And we're gonna see Vader and Obi-Wan face off against each other somewhere in the series. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, we see. Yeah, we'll see. And let me see. Oh shit, that's a web page I can't. Well, Star Wars reveals the final fate of Darth Vader's other Sith mentor. Y'all didn't know. Palpatine learned the secrets of essence transfer from the spirit of the Sith Lord Darth Momin, and Momin's ultimate fate has finally been revealed in Star Wars Crimson Reign #4. Y'all got to check out Crimson Reign. That shit is ill. I don't know if I got any today, but I just got a bunch of books today, Stu.
Yeah.
No comment.
I didn't get a chance to pick up anything today.
I just kind of grabbed whatever. I just grabbed anything. I didn't even grab like 4 or 5 books. And it's like,
new Ghost Rider.
Okay, nice variant.
Any Wolverine fans, y'all know that his first ongoing series, he was called Patch. He had the eye patch, and he was nicknamed Patch, Wolverine #1. And so this is a dope new book called Wolverine Patch #1. Big Country. Happy Star Wars Day.
Star Wars Day, Big Country.
We got, that's from Flashpoint Beyond #0.
Oh, so you got the variant cover. Okay.
Yeah. Got the Devil's Reign, the Winter Soldier.
I got Deadpool.
You got what?
Yeah, I have that.
Devil's Reign #6 today. I got this one.
Yeah, I got
here.
the Deadpool.
You got the Deadpool. Yeah, see, that's Devil's Reign. That's the Devil's Reign, the actual 1 through 6 miniseries, and these are the tie-ins they did. They did Devil's Reign, like, you know.
I think I have
like every character.
I got Villain for Hire like 2 and 3, like a couple of times, but I never really get all of them. You know what I mean? It should be expensive, man.
Yeah, though. Yeah. If I didn't sell comics, I wouldn't be buying like I do. But
So wait, that's your shop? Like you're in your shop right now, son?
Nah, this is like my man cave.
Oh, all right.
My shop is on Instagram.
Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah. I still on IG. But you got this one, Stu? Bad Blood.
Yeah, I got that Bad Blood. Yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't
Rob
read it yet.
Liefeld. Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't read it yet, but I got it. Yeah.
it's
I'll
pretty
probably
good.
read it this weekend.
Yeah, check it out. It's not bad. It reminds me of like, it's Rob Liefeld, so it reminds me of the original Deadpool before he was like just wacky and goofy. He's still,
Okay.
but Thanos Quest. It's what do you call it? Square bound, a real thick joint. We got what else? Shadow War Alpha #1. I have no idea what it is.
That's that not that. I'm talking about that. But what's that other guy?
What number is it?
Deathstroke
Yeah.
#1.
What number is it? Oh, Shadow. Yeah, Shadow
He got-
War started in Batman 122, where where Deathstroke killed Ra's al Ghul,
Yeah.
and Batman is on a quest to set things right. Plus, he had a baby with Talia Ghul, Deathstroke did.
Mhm.
So that's
I
another thing.
like that one. I like that one. That was cool. I want that. That's Sabretooth #3, right? Or #2? Yeah,
Two.
I need
Yeah,
that.
two.
Need that. I only got #1. I need that one.
Look at that,
So,
Stu.
Yeah, I have
Solo
that.
Chewie,
Got number
number
2 or
one.
what? What number is that?
That's number
It's number
one.
1? Yeah, I got
Yeah.
number 1. I'm waiting on number 2.
And then this is number 1 also, Knights of X.
yeah, I got that too. I didn't get to read it yet. Though.
Yeah, this is mutant, mutant stuff.
But
It's,
that's right after the Onslaught series though, right? Like, cause I was reading Onslaught the other day, and I'm like, oh okay, and then it kind of no, that might be Legion of X. I might be
Legion
wrong.
of X, yeah. Yeah.
That's what Legion, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
Legion of X.
but is Nightcrawler in Knights of X or not?
I haven't read it yet. I just got it.
Oh, okay.
Just got
Yeah,
it. Yeah, after this comes Sabretooth #3, then X-Men #10, then Legion of X #1, and then it goes like New Mutants 25, Wolverine 20, Giant Size X-Men Thunderbird #1, Immortal X-Men #2, Marauders #2, X-Men Red #2. If you look in the back of all the mutant titles, there's always like a reading order, because all the mutant titles, you know what I'm saying, New Mutants, Wolverine, X-Men, all of that shit, all the different ones, they all connect like story wise. So if you want to know what to read next and all of that, just look at the back page of any of the mutant shit. It always
X-Men definitely got me for a lot of money, man. I've been trying to.
Oh yeah. Whole lot. Whole lot. Not sure if anybody answered you. Yeah. 27. And then that's
27.
Ghost Rider #1, or this is Ghost Rider #2. I read Ghost Rider #1, and it's a return of Johnny Blaze. So if you're like me and you ain't been fucking with Ghost Rider since he was Johnny Blaze, that's what's up. And I like that they're doing that shit, man. Like X-Men and like Marvel is like kind of giving us throwback versions of stuff. Like X-Men Legends is like a throwback to like the 90s X-Men era. And all of that. Yeah, thank you, Big Country. Slade, you heard us though. We told you 27th, right?
Silver Surfer Rebirth.
#1.
Yeah,
Very nice.
I love Galactus covers. Like for real, anything with Galactus on it, I fuck with it.
That's dope. That's a dope cover.
Yeah, it is.
This is the new X-Men Immortal #1. That's the Krakoan Society. Looks like it's a connecting cover for like a the Last Supper, like the Last Supper painting by Jesus and all that. That's it's everybody's like in those positions, and then there's another one goes right here to connect to it. It might even be three comics. That would be dope if it was a triptych. Superman, Batman, World's Finest. This is a fucking dope cover, dude. I love this cover. I don't know why. It's just I don't know.
What number is that?
#1,
Like
World's
2.
Finest.
That's number 1.
Superman
Mine
slash
has
Batman, world's
mine
finest.
has mine has Batgirl and somebody else on the cover. But I got the variant cover of that. I know of the number
Yeah.
one world's finest.
I just never see Batman in the blue and gray too much anymore, man. And if you do, it ain't letting. Then we got what I grabbed, X-Men Unlimited,
Yeah,
Latitude.
that's the one that connects like the online series and stuff like that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because I know they've got Longitude and Latitude, and this is Latitude, and it's Jonathan Hickman. So Jonathan Hickman is the guy that wrote House of X and Powers of X. Was really Powers of 10, but House of X, Powers of 10, and they staggered in order. So there was 6 issues of each one, but you're supposed to read House of X first, number 1, then Powers of X number 1, then House of X number 2, then Powers of X number 2, then House of X number 3, then Powers of X. That's the order you got to read it in order. It ain't gonna make no sense. And so he's back doing something like that again with Longitude and Latitude. And this is X-Men Red number 1. This shit is fire. This shit is dope. Stu, Sada, I'm telling y'all, you got to get this shit.
Yeah, I read X-Men Red.
That's a dope cover.
It's
That is
amazing.
dope. That is
Yeah.
a hell of a dope cover. Yeah.
Ooh.
It's super dope. This is another dope cover. Mr. Sinister. And that's Immortal X-Men number 1. Oh, I got 2 Immortal X-Men number 1s? Yep. Well, I guess one's for sale. I don't know. I'm not one to keep a bunch of copies of the same comic.
Well, you gotta, you
Yes.
put one on chill.
Yes.
Yeah, you do what you gotta do. You put one on
Oh, any
display and one
cover
on
with
chill.
like Emma Frost is so dope to me. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is.
Devil's Reign X-Men right there. Kingpin and Emma Frost.
Yes.
And then last but not least, X-Force number 27. That is the mail call. A lot of those came from my boy OG Lee. Shout out OG Lee for hooking those up. He got the dope LCS. And but Fleezus, man, I know came on to chop it up with us and do the interview, and I really appreciate you, but we ain't gonna keep you all night. But you're welcome back anytime, man. And
all right, man. I appreciate it, man. And yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, so anybody support the Kickstarter, you know what I mean, or not, or whatever. It don't really matter. But I appreciate, you know what I mean, reading those. My guy Stu, Masada, and all that, man. Yeah, definitely the family. Yeah, gang. And you know, I'll be back, man. I'm definitely gonna be
We
back.
hope so, man. We want you back, man. Come on back.
Sure, I'm
Come
be
back
back
on your next. Yeah, come back on your next project. Just to bust it up.
I'm trying to be back in like next week, 2 weeks. Next, I'm freaking comic book day, man. Pull out more comics. And I play.
nah, you can
Free comic
come
book
back,
day.
man. I'll shoot
That'll
you the
be our
link,
next
man.
show. Our next show will be
yeah.
on Free Comic Book Day.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So let's do it then, man.
Saturday.
So you know, I see y'all next time, man. Peace, you know what I mean? No love and all that goodness and all that, and you know, take care.
Peace.
Mhm.
Yo, peace, man.
Peace.
Yeah, man. Cool cat. Great show. And definitely, y'all, that's the Kickstarter website address at the bottom, rolling across the screen. Check out his book. It's amazing. Dude really got some skills, and it's a mad interesting concept. But yeah, man, that's our show. But whether Moon Knight, we'll see a second season, or merely continue his adventures on film has yet to be seen. But this is certainly not the end of Mark Spector, even though the 4-man deserves a rest at this point. And the open-ended nature of the credits, the end credit stinger, seems like the perfect way to end, introducing an entirely new world of possibility while still staying true to the comics that fans love so dearly, and giving us that comic accurate stuff we crave. But where the Fist of Khonshu goes from here is anyone's guess. But after 6 weeks of kick-ass action and a more than satisfying emotional conclusion, I'm happy to follow Mark and Steven and Jake wherever they lead, wherever they take us. And we're going to be talking about it and breaking it down for y'all when they do. We'll see y'all, man, Saturday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for DC Power Hour on New Comic Book Day. Sada, Stu, it was ill.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.